LEGO Simpson sets. They are pretty awesome, aren't they? We've got the Quickie Mart. Look at that. Chief Wiggum's bust and snake out front of it. Pretty neat. Up here, we've got the Simpsons house, and that's the 2 LEGO Simpson sets that they've ever created. Like, that's it. So I've actually improved the look of mine by giving them Mills plates. We've got the Simpsons house. It's on its own plate, and also the Quickie Mart with the parking lot. Pretty cool. Also, for the Simpsons house, I decided to build Bart Simpson's Treehouse out back. I built that a long time ago. It has moved around a lot, and it is very battle damaged. And I think I can improve the look of it today in this video. Figured before we continue working on the residential area, I may as well allocate some time to building a better treehouse for Bart Simpson. I think the foundation of it looks pretty good. It might be a little bit square, but I mixed in some slopes, also some of those profile bricks, and then there's some boards that are nailed to it for like a ladder leading up to the access point there. But it's supposed to be a lot more bushy on the top. I think a lot of the leaves that I put on there fell off, which isn't a good design because these are just loosely fitted on top, so I'm gonna have to try and improve that. So I'll probably keep the foundation though. I do like the foundation, I think that's good. And the actual house aspect of it is pretty decent as well. Might be a bit square, but the leaves on top with those arches definitely need to be improved. So I decided I will be rebuilding the trunk. I want to give it more of a round shape. The best way to do this would be to use a bunch of reddish brown curved slopes, but I have like a handful of those. So I've got to use some of the profile bricks, cheese slopes, also the 1x1 studs, and I'm just trying to give it, you know, a nice round shape. I have put some of the curved slopes in there, and I've put them on these bricks with the forward-facing studs, and I've inset them into the tree to try and give it a bit more design. Maybe I could use some of those around the edges, but turn them the other way. But just sort of trial and error. I'm trying to get a round shape. It's hard to do that with LEGO system pieces. Curved slopes would be ideal, but I'm just trying to build with what I have. I've also reduced the footprint of it a little bit as well, and I think so far we're off to a pretty good start. All right, here's the trunk. I think that looks pretty cool. Added lots of like divots. So I kept the divots there. It goes in one stud, and I put a cheese slope on top of like a 1x1 circular plate. Also used a bunch of 2x2 circular bricks to give it a rounded shape. So even though it's square, it's got lots of texture, making it look rounded, which I think is pretty neat. I love the curved slopes. I've popped a few in there, like this one, it pops out a little bit. And then on this side, did the same thing up top there, and another one down here. And those are like inset, so I feel like that's pretty cool. And then as you approach the top, I put these arches, 2 different styles of arches, and those meet up flush on the top there. And I was able to put some of the leaves on the ends of the arches, and then I locked them all in place with the final layer of plate, which sort of holds everything in place. And then of course we've got the rungs for the ladder, which are just nailed into the tree. And I feel like that trunk is definitely a lot better. Here's some pictures of it before. So yeah, definitely a lot more squarish, and I don't think it's quite as refined. There's a lot more parts that we put into this one here. I think this definitely looks a lot better than the before. So I'm pretty happy with that. It's a decent upgrade. Next up is the actual treehouse. Now Bart's treehouse is quite square, so I don't think I should round out the harsh corners of the treehouse just to keep it authentic to the actual show. But for sure the branches and everything up top need to be changed, and I'll probably end up ripping all of this apart just to try and get it looking better, just like I did with the trunk. Okay, so the actual treehouse part of it has been attached. I didn't make that modular. I figured I wouldn't have to remove the actual treehouse from the trunk of the tree, but the roof will be modular. I changed up some of the arches within the walls, increased the size of them, because when you look at the treehouse, like in the show, there are a ton of leaves. So I figured the more arches that I could build into it, the better. And then I started putting some of these rounded connectors off to the side, because it's like a big bushy tree. It's sort of a round shape. So rather than having those branches or leaves just like horizontal, I want to try and get them at unique angles and stuff. And the roof, I decided to do something completely different. So I tiled it off here, and I didn't leave any studs because I'm not going to plate build the roof. I'm actually going to brick build it. Sort of weird, right? So this is going to look sort of strange just because it's a tree with no leaves, but I think any tree with no leaves, in Lego form at least, looks sort of strange. But this is the roof here. So it's brick and plate built, and then I put those connector pieces, the rounded ones, right into it. So wherever you see one of those, it's one plate, so I offset it with 2 more plates, and then I was able to brick build it. And you can see these weird connector elements connecting to those and these bar elements coming off, and I'm thinking that's how I'll be able to change the angle of the leaves. You can see how this one can rotate because it's right on the edge, and that's because it's a rounded connector piece. So I think that's pretty cool. I'll be able to put these leaves at all sorts of angles, and I'm thinking the bars coming off will allow us to stack leaves on there and create that rounded shape that this tree has. And I also put 2 of the modified tiles on the back, or the modified plates with the 2 studs. So now this can actually slot right into place atop the treehouse, like that. And those plates are actually on the outmost edge, on the bottom of it, and on the top, so it can't move around side to side, and it can't move around forward and backward. So it's locked right in place, and it's removable. So I think that's pretty cool. I think that's going to work. But I'm very curious to see how I'm going to do the leaves. It's going to be a lot of trial and error. I'm just going to put so many leaves on this thing and try and get it sort of like the round shape that Simpsons treehouse has. And I think that was one of the major flaws of my original design. So I think this sort of connector style roof will allow us to do that. So I just finished building the treehouse, and it is very bushy, much like my hair today. I think this is the largest tree I have ever built. Mrs. Bricksie's tree in the zoo, I think, is still larger though. The thing is enormous. But this took me a long time to build. It was like 3/4 of a day to build this thing. Pretty part intensive, but I think it looks great. Really happy with the end result. Check it out. Hey, sorry about the lights there in the last couple of clips. I was filming at the other desk there because Mrs. Bricksie was building something epic over here, and we wanted to work on some serious projects before completing the residential area, and it is definitely pretty exciting. I love this treehouse. I think it looks so much better. What do you think of the leaves? Got them all at those interesting angles, so they're held in place by those different connector elements and some of those like hamburger tong elements, which I guess I left some exposed right there so you can see them. Got to just put a leaf on that black element there. I don't have them in reddish brown, but it's all good. You can barely see them, right? Look at all the leaves. I think the bars coming off the top there worked out beautifully because I was able to stack all the smaller ones and put them in different directions and then fill it all in with the smaller leaf elements. And it's just like this nice bushy tree. Like the leaves are going forward, this way, sideways, at angles. So I think I was just able to fill it in quite nicely. It just worked out beautifully. And when you peer inside, you can see I added some details such as Bart, a cookie, and also a radioactive man 2x2 printed tile. There's also some other printed tiles in there. Despite the fact that there's so many leaves on this thing, you can actually still remove the top, believe it or not. It is a little bit trickier, of course, because those leaves do sort of overlap with one another. But if you literally just grab it by one of the bar elements that's supporting a bunch of leaves, you can just lift it right out like so. 1 or 2 might fall off. That's all right. It's just one. It's still good. It's still good. Yeah, but there we go. It's still removable, so that's awesome. And then you can get in there and see some of the print pieces that I put in there, like the rock and roll and some other 2x2 printed tiles, because he's reading comic books, right? Radioactive Man. Then he's got some pizza and a Buzz Cola in there as well. And here's all the leaves on the roof. I'm surprised that one fell off, to be honest with you. I can literally shake it around, and none of them are going to fall off. So yeah, that's good. Also, I can grab the treehouse, and I can shake it too. And none of the leaves are going to fall off. I can bump into them, and none of the leaves will fall off too. So it's perfect. And look at the size of the treehouse compared to the Simpsons house. I think it's perfect. You're going to be able to see it just like popping up over the roof. So that's ideal. Now the Simpsons yard is a rather boring yard. When you Google a picture of it, or if you watch The Simpsons, you know it's just grass with a couple bushes. I should probably build some actual bushes rather than using the pre-molded ones. And I need to change this tree because it's not a tree like that sits in this corner. It's more so big bushy tree on the top. So I do need to change that tree. But I just had a swing set back here, and then the sandbox for Maggie. And this side has like a stone wall that's like tan and dark tan, and then it has a brown picket fence. However, I believe there is a hedge right next to Flanders' house, so I should add that hedge when we place this in the city. But the treehouse is going to sit right there. I just carved out an 8x8 spot for it, so it should just sit right in the mills like so. There we go. I made this mills plate super strong. It has bricks all the way along, so you can pick it up and move it around no problem. Ooh, it fits just beautifully. Doesn't hit the house or anything. Oh, thank goodness. Hey, look at that. You can see the treehouse poking up behind the garage there. Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. Well, there we go, everybody. It's the new and improved treehouse. Make sure you stay tuned for another residential update. It's coming out in the very near future, as Mrs. Bricksie and I were also working on a park today, or a playground rather, for the school. But I'm really happy that I was able to take care of improving Bart Simpson's treehouse. Much, much, much better. Thank you so much for coming on by. Please like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Farewell.